My musing for today is this past weekend. I was in Washington, D.C. First time ever. I had always wanted to go to Washington, D.C. I wanted to see some of the monuments, go to some of the Smithsonian museums, and I did that. And I had made this plan months in advance. Little did I know that while I was there on my final day, which was June 14th, I did not know that it was going to be a special day in Washington, D.C. The 250th birthday of the United States Army was happening that day, and the Army had planned a day of events on the National Mall, which is that big park-like area just south of the White House and a little bit, west of the Capitol building. All that was going to happen that day. I did not know that. President Donald Trump, also, unbeknownst to me, had his birthday that day also. So it was the birthday of Donald Trump, President of the United States, as well as the birthday of the Army. And Trump had always wanted a parade, so they did add a parade to the festivities. And it was a sight to see. I was there. I was a part of history, and I had no idea that I was going to be a part of that history. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I want to muse about history and being at the right place in the right time. You never know when that might happen to you. I was not expecting to be there at the right time, but I did. And by chance, we also had a hotel room that was just a stone's throw away from the festivities. And so there I was, expecting to have a different adventure. That was my expectation. I was going to go there, see the monuments, go to museums. That's all I was expecting. Maybe have some nice local food. And it ended up being more than I expected. So here are some sights and scenes of my little time in Washington, D.C. on June 14th, 2025. Enjoy.
Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. This charming city offers a unique opportunity to see and experience American history firsthand. You and your family can spend quality time visiting the many monuments, museums, and general attractions, which make this an excellent travel destination. Washington, D.C., a thriving modern capital with distinctive historic charm.
Hello, everybody. I'm in Washington, D.C. Yes, the nation's capital. David Earl Moravee here, reporting Washington, D.C. I am reporting from Washington, D.C. David Earl Moravee, Washington, D.C. Today is the 250th anniversary of the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army. Today, June 14th, 2025. And I'm here enjoying that. Also, it's the President's birthday today, so two things happening one day, and I'm here in the nation's capital. Well, you don't believe me? Look at this. Follow me. Look. As I spin around, you're going to see. Oh yeah. There we are. The nation's capital. The U.S. Capitol building. Right there. Here you are. And my wife Patricia, somewhere out there taking pictures. Somewhere. But it's morning time. It's going to be thunderstorms later on tonight, flash flooding in DC. Who knows? It might rain on the parade. There's a parade coming on tonight at the National Mall for the U.S. Army for the 250th birthday. And coincidentally, it's President Trump's birthday also. He's not 250 years. He's younger. All right, folks. Take care. Adios. We'll have more information later on.
For 250 years, the U.S. Army has defended its people, land, and the American way of life. At the dawn of our nation, farmers, craftsmen, and patriots stood against the mightiest empire in the world. These citizen soldiers took up arms to fight for independence and prevailed. At Lexington and Concord and through the bitter winter at Valley Forge, the Army fought for and secured our nation's freedom. 30 years later, in the War of 1812, the Army faced another test as British forces marched on our young republic. At Fort McHenry, under relentless bombardment, the Army held firm. "This will defend" was not just a rallying cry, it was a promise that ensured the sovereignty of our country. Then, the greatest test of all, the Civil War, pitted brother against brother in a nation divided. The Army fought not just for land, but for the preservation of the Union and for freedom. At Gettysburg, at Antietam, and beyond, they defended their belief in a unified country, which shaped the future of our nation. In the bloodiest battles of the 20th century, American soldiers answered the call, fighting wherever liberty was at risk. In 1917, as the world was consumed by war, the U.S. Army entered a conflict like no other. In the trenches of France, soldiers faced barbed wire, poison gas, and relentless artillery. At Cantigny, they launched their first major assault. At Saint-Mihiel, they executed a swift and decisive attack, proving American strength. And during the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, the largest battle in U.S. history, they shattered enemy lines, helping bring the war to its end. In 1941, when the world plunged into war yet again, the Army was ready. From the deserts of North Africa to the hedgerows of France, from the islands of the Pacific to the streets of Berlin, U.S. soldiers carried the weight of the free world. On June 6, 1944, they stormed the beaches of Normandy, charging through the surf and gunfire, and climbing cliffs against overwhelming odds. Victory was never certain, but they fought fiercely and triumphed. Their fight wasn't just for America, it was for millions silenced by tyranny. 5 years after World War II, another struggle for freedom erupted. In Korea, the Army faced not only a determined enemy, but brutal winters and impossible odds. In the Battle of Incheon, their fierce fighting forced the North Korean army to retreat. At the Pusan perimeter, they held the line. And in the frozen hills of Chosin, they fought with every ounce of strength to defend liberty. But peace was fleeting. In the 1960s, as tensions escalated in Southeast Asia, the Army was called to Vietnam. In the dense jungles, soldiers fought a relentless battle against an elusive enemy. The Army's strength was on display in the Battle of La Drang, where soldiers held firm under extreme conditions. In the face of uncertainty, the Army showed unwavering commitment to their mission. In 1990, the Army was called to the Middle East as Iraq threatened to dominate its neighbors. From the deserts of Saudi Arabia to the streets of Kuwait, soldiers launched a decisive offensive, pushing back the forces of tyranny and restoring peace. In just 100 hours, the Army's swift and overwhelming force liberated Kuwait, proving the might of American power and determination. Then, in 2001, the world changed. The attacks on September 11th set in motion a new era of conflict. The U.S. Army stood at the forefront of the global war on terrorism, fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq. In the mountains of Tora Bora, soldiers pursued those responsible for the attacks. And in the streets of Baghdad, soldiers faced an insurgency determined to tear the region apart. Their commitment never wavered as soldiers confronted each new trial, ensuring the security of America and its allies in a world that had been forever altered. The nature of war changed, and so did the Army. Today, the Army stands ready for whatever is next. Faster, smarter, and more lethal than ever. Battle-tested and constantly evolving, today's Army thrives under pressure. Across every domain, land, air, sea, space, and cyber, the Army remains ready and engaged. Through training and transformation, the Army ensures soldiers are equipped, empowered, and prepared to win against any adversary. Artificial intelligence and advanced weapons are changing the way we fight. But our foundation stays the same, the warrior ethos. Mission first. Never quit. Never accept defeat. Never leave a fallen comrade. Wherever the need, soldiers show up to fight and to serve, ensuring the safety and security of the nation. The Army's legacy lives in those who step forward. And the next chapter? It belongs to those who are ready to lead, to adapt, and make the same promise that every soldier makes to the nation and its people. This will defend.
Hello. So, musing about birthdays. Well, it's my birthday period. I'm a few days beyond my birthday, and here I am at the nation's capital. Yes, I'm in D.C. I'm in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Today is also the 250th birthday of the United States Army. Who was the commander of the first U.S. Army? George Washington, of course, in Washington, D.C. Hey, it's a humid day. It's normally humid out here. It's June, but I'm glad to be here to experience this and history. I've always wanted to be here. How was I to know it was going to be a day of history? So, my musing is, you know what? You never know what's going to happen. Even someone like your wife, your spouse, might join you. See, there's Patricia waving hi. Say goodbye. But look at, she is so beautiful. In front of this building, it sparkles. Sparkles. Let's continue. Right, Patricia? Let's continue our adventures in Washington, D.C.
Yes, let's continue.
Down this street, not a whole lot of things going on. Not a whole lot of cars or people. A few blockades. Back over here by the Capitol building, there's a few people coming in. I wonder how that car got in here. Yeah, like that? No, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm walking like a duck. Hurry, let's cross.
I need to cross, I don't care. Maybe I'm going to be scolded. Don't care. everything's closed for the parade.
Well, we crossed, and look, there's some people here. You have the camera.
Obelisk and just showing the entire park.
It's called the Washington Monument.
It's historical because it's a preparation for the birthday of Trump. They have a big stage there that I missed to see it that says Army, and I guess the show is going to happen there. And
Part of it.
Big path of plastic made for the people to walk aside. This is also unusual. We never are on the national events, and this is also, even that we hate it, it's a unusual situation, you know? It's a national event.
I hate that it interrupted our vacation plans.
It's a national parade of a president, and there is a stage for the Army, U.S. Army. I'm hungry.
Well, we'll just have to eat later, I know.
So supposedly the bricks are just standing up, leaning each other without concrete, just using calculations and physics.
So they say.
It's what we were told.
Everybody knows the monument, and you can see that. But as you head back towards
Look, more people are coming, so we're not alone. But I really thought there'd be more people. I thought there'd be a lot more people. I know you love the grass, but I'm getting dizzy with your camera work. Let's go check out the streets.
I like the grass.
There are more people here, but I don't think as much as the president was expecting. Hardly any MAGA hats. Just folk. All right, the parade has started. History has begun. Here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, would you please rise for the singing of our national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleam?
To all my veteran friends, this march is for you. Damn, those things should not be squeaking. That's not right. They should be stealth and quiet. And the parade went on, and here is an official summary. Well, that was the official wrap-up of the 250 Army birthday, and Trump's birthday, and ending my week of a birthday. The weather was not perfect. It looked like it might rain. It didn't. A little bit humid, but it wasn't too hot. So I'm glad I went to D.C. and had the experience of being there for a very historic occasion. Tell everybody about my channel. Please, please. Subscribe. Have them subscribe and like. And if you have any comments, give them to me. If you have any suggestions, please give them to me. Again, thank you for watching my YouTube channel, my videos, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you may be. Take care.